was an honor fighting with you. It was a valiant effort, friend.
What's up, Fresh Bros? Welcome back to How to Elder Scrolls, more specifically, my little mini series where we're reviewing every class in the Elder Scrolls 1 arena, and currently we are on the Healer, possibly my favorite class in TES 1 for, well, some pretty good reasons. But that's enough talking about the Healer. Let's get on into it so we can, well, talk more about the healer. So the healer is the 8th class alphabetically in the chart of all the classes in the Elder Scrolls 1 arena. They have E-scaling experience table, meaning that they get pretty low experience gain. However, that's whatever. They also get a D8 hit die, which is lower than the burglar, but well, the things do get a little better soon. And of course, healers, their only weapons are daggers, maces, staves, and flails. So those are the only weapons they're allowed to use, which, mind you, daggers and staves are like tier 1 weapons, but maces are like about mid-tier weapons, and flails are pretty good for even up to endgame. You're allowed to wear up to chain armor. You're allowed to wear up to a round shield. You have 25% thieving efficiency. You have 2 times your intelligence and spell points. You do not get any critical strike chance, and you start with a dagger. Alright, so the healer is in fact a mage archetype. Healers are mages dedicated to treating injuries and helping those in need. Their powers tend to be powerful in an offensive nature and weak in an offensive nature. Healers have an increased base healing rate. Certain defensive spells certain defensive spell effects in the spellmakers are cheaper for a healer to purchase. Healers have 2 times their intelligence and spell points. Now, the advantages. Healers possess the second highest spell point multiplier, which is 2 times, alongside mages. And custom spells with Cure, Drain attribute, Elemental resistance, Fortify attribute, Heal, Transfer, and Regenerate spell effects costs less to buy and cast. Which, mind you, all of these are really good for just survivability, which is very useful in a game where, well, diseases can affect you a lot. You obviously are going to need to heal a lot. And in the early game, you might want to have some more attributes, and somewhere in the mid-tier of the game, you may face some enemies with some powerful fire spells. So, like you definitely get some good advantages here when it comes to that. And also, innate healing bonus reduces time spent recovering health when resting. That is just pretty good, like you just heal faster as you rest while also being able to heal yourself faster because you get cheaper healing and you can wear up to chain armor, which is pretty good for a mage archetype. Now, disadvantages. Second lowest health point gains among all classes, which is a D8. Custom spells with damage and continuous damage spell effects cost more to buy and cast. So, hang on, what was the... you definitely got... I will say the Battle Mage did get a bit more when it came to, like, how many disadvantages they got, when it came to how many different spell effects got nerfed. But for the healer, it's just damage and continuous damage, which, you don't really need in the early game, and by the later game, those spells do get cheaper anyways. relatively limited weapon selection, which is true, but you do get a flail, which is all you really need to beat the game, and can only equip and use bucklers and round shields, which honestly, they're pretty good, like middle ground. Notes. On the surface, healers rely on a unique gameplay style of primarily relying on defensive magic to stay alive, supplemented by their limited, though not terribly restricted, weapon availability to deal damage. However, strategic and effective use of custom spells with various transfer type spell effects can provide healers with a perhaps unorthodox means of offense, and with the added bonus of replenishing their own reserve own reserves with the use of these spells, even a custom uh, transfer spell point spell can restore more spell points than it costs to cast when made correctly. While healers are less effective in creating and using certain offensive spells in the Spellmaker, so standard baseline spells can be purchased and cast without this penalty, though they will naturally be less optimized like all baseline spells. I mean, it says cercinate, but, you know, it's such a weird word to use there. Now, the manual incorrectly states that healers get 1.7 times their intelligence and spell points. Yeah, so obviously healers were meant to be neck to neck with battle mages, but due to one typo, they are a little broken. Well, anyways, enough dilly-dallying. Let's go ahead and make our healers, shall we? Alright, and here we are in character creation. It's time to select our class. And of course, literally just right below the burglar class is the healer. So we went from the worst class in the game to the best class in the game. But anyways, I did in fact beat the game at least a couple of times with the healer. So I think it would be nice just to bring out an old classic. I mean, I guess if you really want to see how this character plays out in this straight up build, I guess you could see my full series, my full arena playthrough. I mean, I broke down like all sorts of different spell uses in that game, like. But anyways, we are going to play as Old Cinder Dreth, bringing in a classic. And of course, I would like to make sure that we get at least a nice 60 intelligence so we can have a good and decent spell point amount. And we do want to have a decent agility. Perhaps get our endurance up a little bit more. And let's see here. I don't really need willpower all that much. I suppose we could bump up our strength to a flat 60. That should just help with everything else. We start with 32 hit points, but don't worry, that's perfectly fine. I actually like how the game actually blessed me with this. But yeah. So, some of the spells in this game are completely broken. And healers get too many spell points in my opinion. Too many spell points for their own good. But anyways, here we are, starting off with a mere 120 spell points. We got +7 armor everywhere, you know, just here in the baseline dungeon. But you know, that's fine. We're going to of course do our usual little test to see how powerful this class is in practice. We're of course going to use the ruby key here. And we're going to save scum outside this loot pile to, of course, get some good loot rolls. So I will catch y'all in the other side. Okay, well, I didn't really find any good magic items, but I did find the strongest weapon we can equip, which is the flail. And you can see it does 2 to 14 damage each hit, which, due to our bonus, is 4 to 16 damage each hit, which is pretty nasty, considering that we don't really get all that many options. But yeah, this is basically the last weapon we're ever going to need for at least the rest of this video. So I do believe that, and I mean, flails are pretty common in this game. One thing I noticed is flails are quite common in this game compared to a lot of other loot items. So it's almost like the game is almost pandered for the healer class in general. And you may notice a few of these goblins are tearing us to shreds. Like, we're already looking at half health here. Like, oh no, we're down to 18 hit points. We can just light heal. You know, it's kind of like just having an Estus flask in Dark Souls, which, I mean, it didn't really heal us all the way. It brought us up to 24, but, you know, it is what it is. We will have to make a custom healing spell later just to really show off its strength. And I will show off the strength of having temporary... Oh god. Who am I on top of? I will show the strength of having like temporary attribute increases, because attributes can definitely be... Being able to increase your attributes can be really good. And okay. We do have some rats trying to mess with us. But of course, survivability isn't necessarily the worst thing in the world, because again, you can find a flail pretty quickly on. And mind you, we have E-scaling level up, and yet we just got another level up. I'm just going to focus on agility. You know, we should be fine with just our baseline 60 intelligence for now. I'm just going to get it up to 75, and then I'm going to focus on intelligence next. And yeah, let's go ahead and let's back ourselves into this corner. We're going, of course, try to rest scum. And of course, because we get faster healing, mind you, bandits can be a problem here too. We get faster healing, we can just light heal to also heal up a little faster as we're resting. But of course, we won't need to rest for very long. Like, we get a lot of health back pretty quickly, which is another good thing for the healer. You may say I have the hands of a healer. The health of a healer too. And mind you, because of the heightened healing rates, on top of the higher amount of starting magicka, on top of spells getting cheaper as you level up, this little grinding spot that usually causes me death, well, it can actually be a really good grinding spot, because, like, I can out-heal a lot of things, and, well, by the time I rest up for the next fight, I already have more than enough health to deal with anything. Let's see here, it's currently 1 at night, so we're going to go ahead and drop another save here. And we're going to rest until it's not 1 at night. So here, we'll rest for 7 hours. Uh-oh. Of course, the game is just throwing rats at me. Yeah. Let's see here, camp for a while. Here we go. Uh-oh. Whew. Well, anyways, yeah, having a flail can also be really good. And hey, look at that. I got some leather armor. I'm going to sell that in the next town over, because probably don't need it. Here, it's 8 in the morning. Since we just had a bandit terrorize us a little bit, I mean, we can get some good equipment doing this as well. Because every time we get attacked by bandits, well, as you can see, I'm just tearing through them pretty quickly, because I got a flail right away. I mean, here, look at this. And just like that, we got +5 to hit and +5 to defend. That's more than enough to survive down here. Get another... Oh, that was a thief this time. Huh. And we can just heal up another 2 times. And of course, rest until fully healed. You know, more of these bandits are just going to keep piling up occasionally. 7 in the evening. I don't like that time, so we're going to camp for another 12 hours. Oh, never mind. We got rats. We're going to camp for another 11 hours. We got goblins. Gonna camp for 3 hours. Let's see here, 2 at night, so we're going to camp for 6 hours. Oh. Well, anyways, let's see here. 4, camp for another 3 hours. Give us plenty of time. There we go. No other holiday. Oh, nice. So, we got a holiday here in this town. And of course it's nice and foggy because this is in fact Morrowind. Alright, well, I suppose in this little starting town we should look around, try to find maybe a mage's guild, a equipment store, you know, just a few things here and there to try and get back on our feet. Because of course, you know, we were just in jail for a while, so not exactly a good thing. Oh, to the left of us? Here. Yeah, here we go. Weapon store. Rare sundries. Alright. And I mean, yeah, flails and maces aren't necessarily the rarest weapons you can find in weapon shops, and that's kind of another thing I like about healers, is you can find a lot of the equipment available to you pretty much everywhere. And yeah, I'm just going to sell all this leather stuff for its base value, just because I don't really care all that much about it. Oh, the leather boots for 11 gold. Interesting. And then, of course, I'm going to buy us a full set of chain. And then from there, I suppose we could also see what kind of weapons are available, if any. And I mean, we do have a flail, so flails are pretty good, just to have. It's always nice to also carry like a backup quarterstaff of ebony quality if you can't really find an ebony flail. But yeah, like an ebony flail is really good. Let's see here. Steel buckler of levitation. Yeah, that's unaffordable. Let's see here. So we're going to get the chain cuirass. We're going to try and get this for a little less gold. So we're going to try and get it for 35. Maybe 36. Okay, we can try and barter down to 36. 37 should be reasonable. So, you know, just their usual routine of just trying to skim this guy out of all this armor. So let's see here. If that's up to 40, can I counter it down to 29? 28? Okay, 29 was the right call. We're going to get it down to 30. Yeah, so let's see here. We've got the helmets. We're going to get the greaves next. 29, 29, 29. Get it down to 30. Nice. Alright, let's see here. Now to haggle with them some more about these pauldrons. You see, they sell for 30, which isn't bad by itself. Let's see what kind of prices we can counter to. 22? What about 21? Okay, 22 was the right call. The fact that I'm starting to get good at this, at the whole haggling mini-game. I mean, I guess it is kind of like a percentage thing, and if you're just good at math, then you can just get a good guesstimation, or just, you know, be quick with your math. Alright, let's see here. Now time to get the gauntlets. You know, just try to skim them out for as much gold as we can. You know, just wring this guy out as much as we can. And time to get the chain boots. And of course this is going to handle our armor situation basically immediately. Now let's see what kind of weapons this guy has. As you can see, he has up to a silver mace. And he also has another flail. He also has an elven dagger. So, you know, a lot of good weapons there. Alright, now we can go ahead and equip all of these chain armor pieces, and as you'll see, that's going to drop us down to -1s across the board for everything, which is not bad. Not bad considering we don't have any magic items yet that actually cheapens anything. And of course, we haven't really done any real grinding, or any true grinding yet, at the first dungeon, so we don't really have all that much gold on us. Yeah, only like 159, so buying a spell now wouldn't probably work out too well, so we're going to immediately just head to Rahad, and we're just going to go ahead and, well, we're going to get the first dungeon. And it is, in fact, the middle of the day. Nice. Alright. Now let's go ahead and speak with old Queen Bluebumka. And then, oh, get out of my face, you priest. We're going to speak to Queen Bluebumka and grab Stone Keep. We're going to head there, kill some goblins, grab some loot piles, head around back and forth, selling some loot, so we can get, you know, some decent cash on us, and then see what kind of crazy spells we can get away with. I know that my series I ran with a lot of really decent spells that actually lasted for way too ridiculously long. And, yeah, like, healer can start to get broken really quick if you know what you're doing. And honestly, you don't really need to know what you're doing as much, because, like, all you really need to remember with healer is that you're allowed to use flails and maces. Staves and daggers as well, but, you know, they're just kind of like backup weapons that if you have to use them, then yeah, you may as well, because they are better than using your fists. Now, time to head to Stone Keep. Of course, we can't see Jack Diddley Squat because we don't have a light spell yet, but you see, that's why we're here. We're going to, of course, run through killing rats, especially considering that we have insanely high agility already, and some pretty decent damage already with our flail. We're going to grab this longsword. Now, mind you, the Battle Mage did also do a pretty good job, but, you know, both classes do a pretty good job at this, honestly. They both get some good gear. I'd say the only real difference is that the healer does get access to, well, chain armor. And of course, I got some pretty bad rolls here. So here, what we're going to do is travel back to Rahad. And that way some time can pass. And we're just going to reset the area, essentially. I want to keep my flail out because we're going to be killing a lot of rats doing this. And honestly, a flail is a really good weapon to smash rats. I mean, it's just a giant iron ball on a chain. Also, considering that flails are only in Arena and Daggerfall, it is kind of nice that there's a class that specializes, or I guess is limited to, utilizing a weapon that's exclusive to, well, in this game. The only real weapons that are stronger than the flail, I think the next weapon up is the battle axe, which does the same damage, and then the war axe, or maybe I got it flipped, but like I know the war axe and battle axe both do around the same damage as the flail. Then it's, I think, the claymore. Then there's the Daikatana, which does in fact do a lot more damage. I think the Daikatana does like 3 to 21, so it's like a real ridiculous weapon. But you know, it's just another big sword, so in my opinion, Daikatana isn't exactly all that unique, especially weapon sprite-wise. And honestly, I personally do just like seeing a flail swinging around my screen. But yeah, so considering that the flail is all that I need to do some real damage, the flail and the mace that is, then yeah, it's not like I'm really limited by anything. Ah, and we got our first armor item. We got a belt. Let's see what this belt does. Alright, let's see here. This belt is a -1. Nice, we got -2s across the board. And of course, we can't use a lot of this stuff, but, you know, we got vendors for that. You can really just sell a lot of loot, and honestly, since the healer doesn't get access to a lot of loot, it does kind of mean a lot of stuff mostly goes to selling, meaning you almost inadvertently get more gold just by grinding as a healer, because, you know, if you get an item you can't use, then it kind of forces you to go back to get more items that you could use, while also simultaneously grabbing a bunch of items that you could sell. Speaking of selling, we are going to have to pop into town and sell some loot, because I suppose we have enough of it. And honestly, pockets are getting full. We should definitely have enough strength to carry even more. So real quick, we're going to run by the Mages Guild and discover it. I honestly feel like I'm playing this game a little too much, since I know exactly where the Mages Guild is in Rahad. You know, but that is what it is. And the fact that okay. You know, navigating this game is a little on the tedious side, but that is what it is. We got the basic merchandise over here. Let's go ahead and sell some loot in here. I know this guy doesn't really sell very good healer weapons. I mean, if I look in here and check weapons, oh, I guess he does have some good weapons. I mean, he does have an Elven Flail and a Flail of Fire Resistance, but, you know, mostly the Elven Flail. I mean, I guess I could use the Elven Flail. I mean, it's a little stronger than the other flail I got. But, you know, real quick, I guess we'll first just sell some stuff. Then maybe we'll consider the flail later. So let's see here, 45 gold plate helmet. I could probably sell it for some 80 gold. Nope, maybe 70. Okay, I'll stop trying to rip this guy off. Maybe I'll do 60. 59. 58. Okay, I found the sweet spot. It's 58 for plate helmets. Here, we'll try that deal again. I'm trying to scam this guy, but he's too smart. 58. 50. Nope, not 59. 58. There we go. Come on, give me 58. 57 will work. That's 1 gold short, and that's all I need. Alright, next plate helm. This sells for a lot more because it is in fact enchanted, so we are going to sell it for even more. So let's see if we can sell it for 1,000. Ooh, can I sell it for 100? What about 1,050? What about 1,025? Okay, I guess I'll continue trying to sell it for 1,000. I guess that is cutting it really close. And honestly, 988 should be just fine. So we already have 1,600 gold, which is not bad. A 60 gold plate helm, we could probably sell that for 80. Probably sell that for 79. Probably sell that for 78. I mean, hey, hey, nice, 69 gold. But no, we're going to continue trying to sell it for 78. That's just going to make numbers go up until it's 76, which is just fine. And let's see here, we also got the silver longsword here. 56 gold, and we'll keep it at that. I'm fine with selling that for 56. Got a basic longsword. Oh wow, that is a enchanted longsword, isn't it? Here's 600. I want to sell it for 600 gold. What can? Oh god, I cannot sell it for that much. Could you imagine? All right, 591 should be perfectly fine. Steel tono. Steel longsword. 11 gold, not bad. Daikatana. 37 gold, not bad. And let's see here. We also got a short bow. Now let's see here. I guess I could buy that elven flail and it wouldn't really be too bad. I mean, look at that. We got a longsword of lightning. That's why that was so expensive. Okay. So let's see here. 150. I'm going to counter that for, oh, I don't know, 100. Okay, 110. Wow, he bought it for 110 right away. Holy crap. Okay, cool. Here, I guess I'll sell my old flail then, since I just got an upgrade. Yeah, I'll sell my old flail. 10 gold. Alright, we just got an upgraded flail. Let me make sure to equip it. As you can see, it does 3 to 15. Plus our plus 2, that's 5 to 17, which is pretty good. Alright, so, getting out of this place, we're going to head back to the Mages Guild, and we're going to make some BS. Because what better than to make some BS? Let's see here, we got 120 spell points to play with our mere 60 intelligence. So I'm going to drop a save right out here. I got a few fun spells I want to try. So of course, healing spells are going to be significantly cheaper if we decide to make them ourselves. So that is going to be one spell we're going to make. We got a lot of stuff we can make though, because we do have access to 2,000 gold here. So we definitely have a lot here. One of the first things I want to do is make a create shield spell that's going to cost exactly 120 spell points at my current level. Which, let's see, our casting cost, that is 110. So we're going to modify this a little more. 136. 123. Alright, cool. So, we have a shield spell, create shield spell, that will give us plus 17 health, temporary health per level. Currently we're level 3, so that is definitely a pretty good deal right there. So we're going to call this 001. I guess this will be we're going to call it Shield. We're just going to call it Shield. It's just Shield, because we don't really need to make it anything else fancy. Now, we're going to need a good cheap cure spell real quick. So, basically a good cure all. We would like to have a spell that's, it is, because let's see here. Like, these are cheaper at a technicality. But, one thing about it, in fact, let's see if we can even afford it. Basic Cure Disease. No, it's a little... This would work at our current level, in theory. However, we couldn't cast it at our current level. So, we're just not going to use a cure spell like that. Not yet. We will get a cure spell later. We're going to get a spell that heals health and fatigue. We're going to have it... We're going to make it heal up to 10 health per level, which is really good considering that we only get upwards to 8 health per level, so eventually this will heal more than we would actually have. And we're also going to make it to where it heals fatigue. We'll just say 10 points per level. This spell only costs 44 spell points to cast every time we cast it, and it just gradually gets stronger as we level up. So currently, this heals us 31 hit points and 31 fatigue points, which is pretty nice. And we're going to call this 002. We're going to call this Cure Wounds. Just a nice little healing spell. On herself, it definitely does some good healing. And we still have plenty of gold to play with. We could mess around with maybe even Fortify Attributes if we so chose. And honestly, Fortify Attribute can be nice because if we really wanted to, since my agility is up to 75 already, we can have our agility just max out and increase our survivability just outright. So let's see here, 5 rounds per level, that's not bad. We're going to up this to 20 rounds a level. A rate of release, yeah, so we're going to up this to, we're going to say a 25 Fortify Agility. That doesn't really hinder us too much. So this is 20 rounds per level. It does, agility loss will occur at a rate of 1 point per 1 round. I would like to affect this though, because the deterioration is a little weird. That would severely, this would cheapen it though. I mean, if I did, let's see here, 10 points every every 10 rounds, and I mean, at that point, I may as well just make it only 10 rounds a level. And yeah, I mean, that's a pretty cheap spell. Every 10 rounds. I mean, yeah. Not bad. So that could just give us a little boost in agility in case we need to hit an opponent more than what we're doing currently. However, actually, now that I think here, 003, we're going to call this Bless. And I would like to also, just so that way we can basically have this, well, work in conjunction for full-blown melee, we're going to do 25 points of increased strength in conjunction to that for 10 rounds, at a deterioration of 10 points every 10 rounds. That ups it to 74 spell points. Doesn't really cost a lot to make this spell. And I mean, that's just a really nice spell to have in general. Now, of course, we are also going to want to have a nice light spell just so we can see in the dark. And honestly, let's see here. I'm gonna have it upwards to 10 per 20 rounds. 83 points ain't bad. Alright. There we go. And now we got our spell set up. Now, time to do what we need to do before heading out. Let's just go ahead and create a little shield around us. And now that we got our shield up and running, I am going to drop a save here before we decide to head right on back to Stonekeep to, well, continue our little excavation, or our expedition, shall I say. And honestly, we should have a pretty good setup here with some pretty decent spells. In fact, we should be able to rest up out here pretty well. Got enemies nearby. Yeah, we can just deal with them, no problem. Just deal with all these guys, no problem. You know, just get some good spell points in us. Because what I mostly care about as of the moment is getting enough spell points in us to simply make it from one side of this area to the other. And honestly, I'm not sure how far along our shield is deteriorated. Oh, hello. Okay. Yeah, it's deteriorated. Oh boy. And we're going to Cure Wounds. As you can see, Cure Wounds definitely heals a lot. Alright, and we're going to rest up here again. And we're going to shield back up and rest some more. And we got lucky with that roll that time. So yeah, you can definitely kill enough enemies in one sitting to be able to deal with everything. And you know what? Here, I completely forgot to activate my light spell. There we go. Better. Now I can see. And we got a mark and a level up. Nice. So yeah, now that we got our agility up to 75, time to work on intelligence. At 66, we have 132 spell points, which is really good. Alright, let's see here. And we got a bracelet. Let's see how good this bracelet is. It's not like we have really good armor effects already. Ooh, -3. Now we have -5s across the board. And our Elven Flail should still be pretty good at just destroying everything. Also, let's see how cheap all of our spells are now. Now that we've just hit level 4, so Shield is already 87 spell points. Our Cure Wounds spell is only 33 spell points. Bless has dropped down to 56 spell points. And Candle has dropped down to 62. And all those spells will just get cheaper and cheaper as we keep going, which is absolutely crazy. we should be able to rest up here. Unless the wolves decide to come out to play, which honestly we could just tear through them quite easily with our current setup. You know, just get set up with a nice flail, you can just rip and tear through most of anything. Why bother playing the game normally when you can just bonk, you know? Just create a shield, rest till fully healed. And let's see here, I actually wonder if we can actually create a light and then rest up and still keep her light because of how long the... Okay. Sometimes, if you get the duration of a spell just right, you could actually create a light and then heal back all of your spell points before the light is, like, diminished all the way. So you can essentially get, like, a free spell in. Now, I am going to light up, and we are going to see how well I can get through these skeletons after I bless up. So of course I hit like a truck now and hit more often. And I mean, just look at how quickly I tear through everything. And like, look at this. So we have an 85 in our damage department, so that's plus 7. Agility is 100, which gives us minus 10s across the board. We get plus 10 to hit and defend. Like, basically, I activate Bless, and everything hits the floor. And we leveled up again. So we're just going to keep dumping into intelligence. At least up to 70. Yeah, 71. Next up, we'll get strength up after we get intelligence up to 75. Because you do want to try and move around what you're increasing. And honestly, you don't need to just fully put all of your eggs in one basket and fully level up only one attribute. Because all of your attributes can definitely prove useful. Now, let's see here. I wonder if resting on the bridge... Okay, it actually does count like resting on a bed. Here, so I'm going to drop a save. And we're going to shield up. Of course, every time we level up, that shield gets stronger and stronger. And it gets cheaper and cheaper. Now, let's see if we can fully heal with Candle up. No. It wears off within an hour, so... But yeah, let's see here. So if we look at our spellbook now that we're level 5, Shield only costs 70 spell points. Cure Wounds only costs 26 spell points. Bless only costs 44 spell points. And Candle only costs 50 spell points. And currently, we have 142 spell points. Alright, so we are going to Candle up. And we're going to jump on over to the Ghoul Island and see how far we can get to, well, the finishing area. So let's, of course, bless up. And just rip and tear through all the enemies like we're a fully strong, beefed up being, because we are a fully strong, beefed up being. So, in fact, yeah, I'm going to chase around the island and just tear through all of the enemies to get even more experience. And yeah, so now I'm going to get this up to 75. That's 150 spell points right there. That's enough for a while, and at least until we get the Ogma Infinium. Or at least that's if I were to run a normal playthrough like this, with this version of Cinderdreth. And here we are just ripping and tearing through yet more ghouls. It looks like they finally got through my shield, but that's fine. We can just cure wounds. And, I mean, our buffs shouldn't be diminish fully. It does look like our buffs did fully diminish, sadly. But here, we might actually have a way to... Oh, damn it. The movement in this game, I swear. Alright, we may have a way to rest up away from the ghouls, to re-shield up, and then jump back in there. And I mean, it only gets more broken as we go. Alright, so now time to candle up. Alright, let's see here. I guess we might have more ghouls inside here. Yep. And I mean, we don't even need the blessing just to absolutely eradicate ghouls. The blessing does help, but you know. And of course, flails are also bludgeoning objects, so you know they're definitely very fun to use. They make thematical sense to break doors down with. And of course, this ghoul did die directly on a treasure chest, so I don't think I would be able to reach this treasure chest. Yeah, his hitbox is literally right on top of the treasure chest. Well, that sucks. Though there is a way to fix this. Oh! We did get an enemy nearby, but that's fine. Oh, more bandits. Kill the rest of them. Now the chest is cleared. We just got another mace. Ooh. So let's see here. We just got a mace, which, you know, maces do 1 to 12 damage. It's slightly used, as well as our elven... Let's see here. We got another belt. That's a -3 belt. Okay, if I can... There we go. So now we got -7 armor across the board, which is really good. And I guess we could also check and see if we can pilfer these locks. Which, you know, does get, which, you know, you do get a higher chance to perform as you level up. Despite the fact that old Cinderdreth here doesn't exactly have a very high thieving chance. Kind of the reason why you don't want to... Of course we got an ebony amulet right near the end. Look at that. -12s across the board. Like, I don't know what it is. The healer is just busted. It's honestly a pretty powerful class, and I mean, here it is. The item we needed. So yeah, we can definitely get here to the island and dominate it too, because all these buffs here, they're buffs. You know, like, one thing when it comes to me and magic users, especially in a game like this, when your spells are more limited on rest, I do like to be able to make more use out of a spell. And considering that this class is more of heal up so you have more health to venture on further, and get a buff that increases your overall damage rate in this melee RPG, it's just pretty good all around. I mean, yeah, sure, I might stop using the blessing boon if I say get the Augma Infinium after I get 75 strength and 75 agility, and just distribute evenly to 100 strength, 100 agility. Then I wouldn't need that blessing ever again, because the blessing does max out at 100, no matter how far your attributes go. So, but even then, it is still pretty good to have that in the early game, just to give you that slight boost you might need for dealing with, oh, I don't know, knights, or fire daemons, or anything in the later game, really. But yeah, I mean, healer. There's a reason this is my favorite class in the Elder Scrolls 1 arena, because healers are pretty frickin' broken. Like, they're just pretty good all around. I mean, my guy's only level 6, and I was able to kill those ghouls like it was nothing. And this may say I only have 57 health points, but of course you get so much magic that you can just shield up and straight up ignore that, while also wearing a full suit of chain armor, and then a bunch of magic items on top of that to make it to where your effective health is well into the tens of thousands by the later game. So yeah, healer. I would definitely rate this class 10 out of 10. I mean, yeah, call it a bias. I mean, I did beat this game twice with the healer, so I do have a bit of a bias. But still, I'm going to remain true on this. I honestly think the healer is a solid 10 out of 10 class. I mean, you get you get some pretty good weapon access. Like, you don't get a lot of weapon access, but the weapons you're allowed to use are still pretty good as is. Like, a lot of the random loot items you find are either, get this, swords or flails, maces, daggers, and quarterstaffs. And I'm not even joking, that's like the most common loot items you can find in either loot piles or just dead bandits, or even just random like goblins and stuff. So like the healer can at least pick up some new weapons right off the bat despite their limited weapon selection, and you still get access to some pretty nasty weapons. I mean, don't sleep on a flail. A flail can absolutely rip and tear through everything. So yeah, a solid 10 out of 10 class just all around, because you get so many spell points and you can just buff up before any fight and just rip and tear through enemies like you're a max level character before reaching max level and no longer needing those spells. But then again, all the spells get cheaper as you level up, so eventually you'll get to the point where the spells that normally would be cheap enough for you to just outright use as any class would be available for the healer as well. So yeah, I do believe that's enough ranting though about how strong healers are. This has been your bro Frostbrew, and I think I'm gonna have to catch you on the next one. Later!